So my goal setting has been very bizarre. And if you saw the first slide, then you know I need this. So my name is Elizabeth Eubanks, and I get to be the lead gardener at From the Ground Up Community Garden. And I witnessed somebody present this the other day, and I just kept thinking, this is so perfect and something that I need. So I'm just going to show you a few things in the beginning. And then from that point, I'm going to just keep the screen up in presentation mode. Hi, Rich. And kind of leave it at that. So this is an old journal that I had, and I literally was making calendars, and I don't know if you can see it, and it's kind of personal stuff, I would guess, but I literally had MMFO, whatever that is, I can't even remember, but it was a shorthand for a daily checklist of just keeping up with my goals and making sure that things happened. I really like colors and drawing and things like that. So for me, my book, this was real important. I did this for a year, and well, I've had some successes. I guess I can always find room for improvement, but I made calendars and everything like that. And two books that I've really enjoyed that I love. I definitely like that creative side. I love Twyla Thorpe. She's I guess a dance composer. What she writes, she's a choreographer. Sorry, I lost my words, but Twyla Thorpe is great. The Creative Habit is great. It's not just for dancing or movement, it's for everything. And there's a lot of worksheets inside of it. So that's a great book. And then the other book that I've gotten a lot out of is James Cleary's book, The Atomic Habit. And I just wanted to show you when I did this goal setting with Ampersand recently, they're a brand company. They're trying to help businesses tell stories. And anyway, this is what mine looked like. And this is how I tend to work. And it just makes me feel good. And again, it's personal stuff, but I just like all the colors, and the creativity part kind of helps get me going and gives me incentive to go. So great, y'all. There's tons of stuff there. There's paper. You can roll it outside.
Yes, I can see you.
Okay. Yeah. So James Clear is The Atomic Habit.
Put it in the chat really quick. The two
books.
Okay.
So it's Twyla Thorpe's The Creative Habit.
in sustainability.
Yes. And I'm Elizabeth Eubanks. If you missed that, I get to run From the Ground Up Community Garden. And as I was saying earlier, I got to participate in a workshop with Ampersand Studios. And really, it's because I saw a friend of mine from Alaska, and she's an artist, and I saw her post, and she was doing all these great, colorful pictures and goal setting, and it really drew me in. I'm really after that creative side of it, and I was really interested in coloring and drawing and planning out my goals. So this came from a lot of their work. It also came from notes that I looked up on my own post participation. And then some of the people that I found really important in this topic were John Doerr, and he has whatmatters.com, and Andrew Grove is where he got a lot of his information from. And I'll talk a little bit more about them later. And then James Clear is the author of Atomic Habits, and he references Warren Buffett quite a bit. And so again, I needed this help. I'm not an expert. I'm just here to share because I got so much out of it. So I hope that you will too. There we go. So dream big, set goals, take action, check in, revise. So in this workshop, basically, hopefully you'll gain insight to what you really want the most. Set a plan. You'll get some tips and philosophies from experts, not me, the other experts. You'll have time to write and think and draw. You'll have 30 minutes to do that. So in between all of this, please make sure that you have something to write with. You can come back to it. We're going to record it. Is it recording? Yes. Yes. We'll be able to pause if you want to relook at it anytime. And I'm already excited to do this because my husband kept saying, why are you doing this? You're so busy. But this is something that I hope to come back to years and years from now and just keep reviewing and hopefully hone in my skills on goal setting. So coming with an open mind, any kind of writing, sticky notes, paper, unlined, lined. I already showed you mine. It's very artsy and chaotic, and it's not really chaotic, it's orderly chaos. And blank paper, whatever might suit you the best. So as we find in the dictionary, a goal is the result of achievement towards which effort is directed. It's an aim, it's an end. So I want you to start off right from the beginning with 3 minutes, and I'm going to time you. And I just want you to make a list of 5 successes. So we're going to start out with something positive that maybe you had in the last 4 to 12 months. It doesn't matter. And you're going to see a lot of garden references in here. I definitely associate a lot of life with plants and gardening. So they kind of help me think about my goals and my lists as I look at the peppers. So you have 3 minutes. So go ahead and write 5 successes that you've had in the past 12 months. We have about a minute left. And if you feel like sharing, you can go ahead and put your answers in the chat, but you don't have to. Completely up to you. So at 5 seconds, 4, 3, 2, 1, I can tell you one of my favorite accomplishments or successes is moving my mom from Fairhope to Pensacola, and she's in a assisted living now with dementia. But that was a huge success and accomplishment. It might not have been the funnest thing on my goal list, but it definitely was an accomplishment. So you can add to the chat if you want. Does anybody want to share any epic, exciting successes? Okay, great. Sure.
The garden.
Yeah.
I did a goal for the last 12 months, and for the last 12 months, I've maintained at least 90% plant-based diet
Wow, that's
for the
awesome.
last year.
That's great. That's amazing. Yeah. Did you have any certain techniques that you used?
Don't eat meat.
Don't eat meat. Yeah, that's pretty simple, right? And it's pretty measurable.
Very,
So, yeah.
very easy. Once you get into it, it's just forming different habits. It's changed my way that I feel, it's changed my body, it's changed my life. So I'll be sticking with it for a while.
Awesome. I'm very curious though, what's one meat that you did eat? If you were 90% there, then what is like one that you just couldn't?
Occasionally,
Mm-hmm.
we still have to go for beer and tacos.
Gotcha. Okay. Yep, that sounds good. So moving along, some questions and some thoughts for you. Okay, yes and no. Sorry. This is a little learning curve, but we're there now. So yes or no's. Do you already have a clear, focused game plan for the next several months to a year? And these are just internal. We're not taking time to literally, you can write it down if you want. If you do have that plan, go ahead and write it down. And do you suffer from shiny object syndrome? Does everybody know what that is? Do you know what do y'all know what it is? Scott? Yeah, that's a great, yes. Yeah. Did you say ADHD? Yeah. So something, that's constantly me. I'm in the garden, I'm working, and I have this great idea to teach kids this, and then something else pops up or somebody walks by, and then I have 1,000 ideas happening at once. Do you have a shortage of ideas or many, many, many ideas? So again, that many, many, many thing goes with me in those shiny objects. So it kind of, it makes things fuzzy for me because I'm always switching. What is your number one goal for the next 4 to 12 months? And we're going to come back to that in a second, but it's just a question. And go big or go home. So that was one of the statements that I really liked when I watched the Ampersand, and she actually referenced the Johnny Tsunami movie, and then I had to watch it because I had never seen it, but it's about a surfer basically. But I like the idea of setting giant goals, and then if I have to reevaluate, I can, but I am definitely a think big kind of person, and then I can break it down to what's more manageable. So I guess I can just. So what is your number one goal for the next 4 to 12 months? You don't have to have it right now, but just take 2 minutes, literally 2 minutes to think about it. And we're going to start now. And jot down some ideas. It's interesting, as a teacher, I feel like I should be coming around to check on you, but it's personal, it's not my business. So I'm sitting, but I'm fighting it. And about 30 seconds left. We're going to come back to this. So. Okay, so we're going to move on. And so Warren Buffett has a great system, and I think everybody knows Warren Buffett. Yes. Amazing, brilliant. He has a 2-list system for setting objectives. And so we're going to look at that, his plan, but then we're going to diverge from it a little bit and go into the OKRs. Has anybody ever heard of OKRs? It reminds me of okra, but it's not. Again, I think garden, and the visuals again, like I think starting from a seed, that's what we're planting, and then we're just going to the root of things. So my garden visuals are there. But the first step that you're going to take right now is you're going to make a long list, whether you have a nice organized piece of paper or you're all over the place, and you're going to make a list of 25 goals. You have 5 minutes to do that, and they can be, again, go big or go home. So we're going to start right now, 5 minutes. Just to reference, these can be personal, professional. It's just really an idea to get you thinking. And later, my suggestion would be come back and do it again and keep doing it for specific topics if you want. We're at about 2 minutes left. About 30 seconds. Are y'all getting 25? No, that's okay. I was like at 50. No, I'm just kidding. Okay, so time. So on how many did y'all get? Just curious. Anybody get 25? Okay, and that's okay. And That's good. Yeah, I think this is my problem, right? Why, and then like time was up and I'm like, I did really go to 26. So I kept going because my brain is just so, I want to do so much. It's like the Sears catalog when I was little for Christmas shopping. 19, Monica got 19. Great. Anybody else virtual want to share how many you got? It doesn't really matter. It's not a competition, but just curious. So with these 19, we're going to move on. And so we're going to stop for a minute and talk about OKRs. And y'all have never heard of the OKR, objectives and key results. Anybody online ever heard of OKRs? Not to be confused with okra, but it's in my head as okra forever. So the objective is the direction and the key results is pretty concrete. Did I do this or not? Scott, did he eat meat or not? I mean, 90%, you said, what did you say? 95%?
Over 90%.
Yeah, plant-based diet. So real simple. A guy named Andrew Grove, who worked for Intel, developed this theory, and there's a cute little video of him that actually John Doerr shares on a TED Talk, and it was just simple. It was the objectives, the direction that you're going, and then did I do it or not? And it's just not rocket science for him. So both of them talked a lot about this. Companies like Google have used this OKR method. Bono used it. A young lady who was working on she developed a company that was basically, I think, delivering and just distributing Medicaid. So a lot of people have great success with this method and simple. And I think Scott, even if he didn't know he did it, that's what he did. Yes, I didn't eat meat, or no, I didn't eat, so plant-based diet. So if we look at it and break it down a little bit, the objectives might be a little bit fuzzy and they're qualitative. So I want to lose weight. I want to be healthy, things like that. A general idea, a big dream. I want people to come to the garden. I want to teach at the garden. Aspirational, and it's the direction. The key results are very quantitative. So we're thinking numbers, measurable, timelines. How are you going to know if you achieved it? It's time bound. Did I do this or not? I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 figs in my hand. So very countable. So on that note, we're going to break down those 25 or 19 or however many goals you got, and you're going to be labeling them OKT, depending on which they are. And I think that the next time that I do this goal setting for myself personally, I'm going to probably be right to the objective and I'm going to know a little bit more. I'm probably not going to have tasks listed into my goal setting, but I did have a lot of tasks in here. And even if you look at mine, some of them are fuzzy, some of them they could be objectives, they could be tasks, they could be key results. So I'm going to show you a few examples, and then you're going to go back and you're going to literally list each one, whether it's an objective, a key result, or a task. So here are my examples, and some of these are true to me, and some of them are just, I just came up with them based on what some people had requested. Sorry, I'm moving things in the wrong direction. So teach in the garden, it's an objective, it's a direction. The key result is I'm going to host 4 educational events in the garden during the months between February and June. And then the tasks that I have are I have to pick those topics. I have to pick the dates. I have to create invitation tiles, post and host, reevaluate in March. The same thing, I really want to switch one of my habits, like picking up the phone when I get bored, to hula hooping. So I'm going to have the hula hoops around, and I want to learn and master 5 tricks by June. And then the things that I need to do for that, you can read. So I don't want to read everything to you. And then manage my time better. Somebody had said that this was something that they really needed to do. So my husband and I were brainstorming, and key results for me would be all of these things that I list. Meditate daily for 10 minutes, ride on the bike or do yoga. You can read, visit my mom, but just things that are really important to me in my life. And in all of the above, really trying to do them constantly for the next 3 months. And again, the other book that I had this book that I used for a whole year, and I created a calendar in it for each month. And then I literally had targets. And again, I don't remember what my letters even stand for. It's probably meditate is probably one, but MMFO. And I would literally go through every day and check whether I did that or not, or whether I kind of did it, but at least I knew, I mean, that was my biggest goal, was making sure that I checked whether I did it or not. The third one is healthy. And again, it's very general. It's just a dream. I want to be healthy. What does that mean? It can mean for me losing 20 pounds by June. How am I going to do that and what that plan is? And again, I'm probably going to be the kind of person that has to literally check off whether I did those things every day and check in on a planner. And I just have a very traditional planner now. I don't have my fancy book where I did all of my art. So, and welcome, Katie and Natalie. So we have Katie and Natalie are joining us, and grab some supplies. You can jump in, but you can go ahead and rewatch it as well. So what we've done already, just to recap, and it never hurts to reiterate things when you're teaching, we made a list of 25 goals. And then we're kind of breaking them down to something called OKRs. And that's the objective, which is kind of loose. And I'll come right back to that just for your benefit really quick. It's qualitative, kind of loose, general idea, big dreams, and then key results. And the key result is going to be very quantitative. And I knew I did this. And Scott had a great example. He didn't want to eat meat anymore. He wanted to be mostly plant-based. And he did that at 90%. And his key result is I didn't eat meat. So very clear, very easy. This is Warren Buffett's, this is a man named Andy Grove's plan. So what you have right now, you're going to have 15 minutes, and y'all can just catch up if you want. You're going to have 15 minutes, and I'm going to let you know when the first 5 minutes is up. The first thing that you're going to do is go right through your list, and you're going to go and mark everything, whether it's an objective, a key result, or a task. So within those goals, you're just going to mark that. And then you're going to take 10 minutes and you're going to organize it. So if you have one that says healthy, you can come in. If you have one that says healthy, then you're going to go and look in your list of 25 or 19 or whatever they are. And you're going to say, oh, well, this really fits, because I also want to lose weight, or I also want to meditate, or whatever you define healthy as. And then you're going to put it as a subcategory. So you're kind of building that objective, key result, and then the task that you need to do to get there. Does everybody understand? Does that make sense? So we'll start 5 minutes now. And really, if it takes you a shorter time, just start moving on to the next thing, which is organizing your objectives, key results, and tasks. Any questions from the virtual people? Okay, I'm going to assume y'all are good. Or just list of goals, and then you're going to try and right now you're going to try to narrow. Yeah, I did this with the objective, and yeah, well, yeah, it's okay. Yeah, thank you. You're welcome to grab paper and pencils and anything, and they're won't catch us. So they're just starting with the list of 25 goals, and then just kind of marking whether it's not just all the key result, which is very good. And what we're considering in 10 days, I will, or if it's a task. Awesome. But yeah, you're welcome to help yourself to whatever suits you. Y'all, Brittany was kind enough to grab some snacks, so help yourself if you want snacks to help you think. Anything else?
It's interesting, so. Hard to drop into one of those categories.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I had some that were doubled, like. And it's probably the place that I started adding extra goals to.
It's interesting, it shows kind of how you think about goals, whether you think about them as an objective or if they're task related. It's really cool insight to how different things.
Mm-hmm. more life. And Warren Buffett said he would help him. And he had him make this list of 25 goals. And then he had him pick 5, and that's it. So out of those 5, he said, so you have 5, and they're your top 5 that you really want to work on for the year, the month, the week, however. I think a lot of this is geared to a year, but I work much better on probably a quarterly basis for myself, or maybe a week or a day sometimes. But basically, you pick your top 5 right now and break down that and focus on that. And guess what you do with all of the rest of them? Like, goodbye. No matter what, you don't come near them until you've finished some of the other ones. But it's really just basically honing in on those 5 and re-looking at them, and really kind of setting yourself up today to walk out of here with 3, and I would say 3 to 5 objectives that are filled in and tasks that you can do to get there. But he says to let them go. And for me, I've already told you I'm attached to those shiny objects, and I'm attached to many, many ideas, and I get very sidetracked. So even within my phone, I have thousands and thousands of videos, and they're always weighing on me and always in my head of 5 years ago, I was supposed to finish this and I really wanted to, and now I have 15 more videos. So for me, just being able to let go of those things is going to have to be a goal in and of itself, because it's hard for me to let go of things like that. But I like the idea of avoid that at all costs and just stay focused on what I need to do right now. We'll take those 5 minutes. You're just honing in. You're getting rid of everything else. How many objectives did y'all wind up with? Anyway, that are like that you worked out? 3? Okay. Good. We'll take that 5 minutes, pick your top 5 or your top 3, and then really work through those so that when you walk out of here, it's something that you can attain. That was the goal, right? The okra? I love this touch screen. Okay. This one?
Yeah.
Okay. 2 minutes left. About 30 seconds. So one of the slides that I pulled that Ampersand had, and I'm still questioning why I pulled it, but it was make one big decision today that will change everything for the year. And I'm just gonna add it here. It's on here. Make one decision. I think I can see it. I'm not sure. Can y'all see it? Make one big decision that will change everything this year. And I keep coming back to Scott since he's the big sharer, and I appreciate him sharing. I mean, he made a huge decision, but it was kind of small. I mean, it was really just one little thing. I'm not going to eat meat, but it's big. And it changed his whole year, and he doesn't think he's going back to that meat eating lifestyle. So I think it's real important to kind of maybe think about, is there a big decision that you could make today that's going to affect the rest of your year? So if there is, just jot it down. Just take that minute to make one big decision. We're kind of wrapping up here a little bit, and I do have a going further because I'm a teacher. And some people want to go further.
I will add one thing.
Yes.
The decision, when we consciously made the decision, we decided that a measure of success would be if we could maintain 75% plant-based diet.
Mm-hmm.
And in that process, as it turns out, once we got into a rhythm, it turned out to be somewhere between probably more like 90 and 95%.
Wow.
So we set our goal just a little bit lower, so we were sure it would be achievable, and ended up eclipsing that.
Oh, nice.
So I think that it's important to make sure that your goals are achievable,
Mm-hmm.
and you just might go way past them.
Right. And then that makes you feel even better, right? Or it gives you some insight, better or worse, but it gives you insight, right? Yeah. So, okay. Just as a little bit of a recap, stay focused. If it's not an asset, it's a liability. Set a plan, check in. For me, taking things day by day, sometimes I have to tick my little boxes that I've done things. Check in once a week, once a month, once a quarter, once a year, adjust as you go. Assign yourself some tasks. And Ampersand was really doing a lot of this they actually are a marketing company and a branding company. So they kept, checking with your team and this and that. But for me, it's checking in with myself. And then you kept saying I like having an accountability partner. So some of the goals that I have set, it's nice to have that accountability. And it sounds like it's probably your wife. Is that yes? Mm-hmm. So it's nice to kind of check in and let them remind you. And then I think it's important, and as we have talked about the virtues lately within Innisfree, the play and the rest for me, and that is a personal goal for me, is to play. At 58 now, that just happened. I don't know what play is for me anymore. Is it hula hooping by myself, or do I need to be with people? Is it frisbee, or like what is play? I'm trying to define that, but I know it's important, and I kind of feel like is painting really play? I don't know. So I'm trying to figure that out. And resting is super important as well. I know going to a party is playing, I think. I don't know. I'm figuring it out. So we're going to go further for just a little bit, but I do thank you for joining me. Ampersand Studios, I actually joined and did their goal setting workshop. And again, it was because a friend of mine, an artist on Instagram, had done this great thing, and I was really drawn to that via her. And then, of course, we need to thank people like Warren Buffett and John Doerr and Andy Grove and James Clear and Brittany. Thanks for helping me. And really thank y'all for showing up. The going further part, you know, a couple of quotes here that I think are important. If we change nothing, nothing changes. And then, you know, I'm really conflicted with Bruce Lee because I take time and I like to kind of process, and maybe sometimes it is too long and then nothing gets done, or maybe a lot gets done. And I heard recently, and I really don't want to quote it, but I'm going to anyway, because I don't know if it was Warren Buffett or somebody else, but they said some of their favorite employees, and maybe you know, I don't know if you're in this world of habit changing and everything, but their favorite employee was the lazy one, they called it. Who was that? Where did that just come?
I just heard it, like.
It was Rusty, I bet. But who was it? Was it Warren Buffett? We do. It is important to move forward and to take that action. Otherwise, nothing happens. But there's a fine line between everything, right? So again, I'm just showing you this book, Twyla Thorpe, one of my favorites, Creative Habit. It's for creative people, and it's about all kinds of habits, not just creativity. But there's tons of activities in here and a lot of big, bold writing that I really like. But even things like just putting yourself into a ball. So she's a choreographer. She did the great play with Billy Joel. I don't know what it was, Broadway. It was his music. What was, you know, one of the big things for her, and I really liked this, and as I reinvent myself a little bit more again, my morning is the best time for me to exercise. And if I stay in bed because I love to be with my dog and my husband and I can't wait for them to wake up, I will stay there on my phone waiting for them to wake up so I can have that moment. And then when I get downstairs, the yoga doesn't look at nothing because I moved on. Like Twyla said in her book, is once she puts her feet on the floor and puts her leggings on, she's in New York, that's her go. And then once she gets in the cab, she's even better. And then she gets to the studio and she's on it. Another one of the exercises that she did is she kind of takes you through your creativity and your habit forming processes as a youth. And then she's got a really cool exercise that she just puts herself into a ball like an egg and just kind of stays there for a minute and just lets things process. So I really appreciate her and have for years. And then this guy is new to me. I probably got this book a couple of years ago and I've thumbed through it a bit, but it's The Atomic Habit by James Clear. And he is saying with these goals is just the small steps that you take. And again, I know that Scott's was a really big step, but it's really just one little thing. It's just no, I'm not doing this. And it gives you really big changes. And so obviously get his book if you want to know more, but the really simple modes of operation to that are going to be make it obvious. If you're going to change your habit, make it obvious, make it easy, make it satisfying, and just the opposite if you're trying to eliminate a habit. So when I think about if I want to drink more water and that's my objective, it's easy because it's right here and I don't have whatever. I don't want a gin. No, I'm just kidding. My water's here. It's attractive because I got a new bottle. It's easy because, again, it's right here. And it's satisfying because I got to drink out of my new bottle, even though it has nothing to do with, with what's in it. So all of those things are very helpful. And then again, if it's the gin we're talking, I'm just kidding. If it's soda or whatever I don't want, I'm going to keep that really far away, or it's not going to be in my house. Like I love Cheetos. I don't have any in my house, but they're at my mom's. So that when I get really stressed because of her state, I can go to her closet. So I need to eliminate them from there as well. So then we talk about these two gentlemen, and I'm going to come to the bottom first. So James Clear, again, he says tiny changes give remarkable results. And then Darren Hardy is small choices and consistency over time equals significant results. And again, you're our model, you're our poster child today. So habits and the compound effect. So the compound effect is that where he didn't expect to get to 90. His goal was something else. He and his wife surpassed that. And they have this compound effect, and they're taking it into the next year. Was it a New Year kind of thing, like a 2020? It was just a random
Just kind of happened.
March once. Yeah. Cool. So this is the last thing if you want. You're most welcome to, but taking a couple of minutes, what is one small thing, if done every single day for an entire year, will ensure that you have achieved your objectives? And then the opposite, what's one thing that you can eliminate? The Cheetos, the meat, whatever that might be, work, professional, personal, and what are those two, that one thing, really, because we're looking at very small things that change everything. And I'm going to leave on this slide, so you have a couple of minutes, and then we'll say hello. And
I ended up traveling north on 3 miles.
so I don't know if there's anything that y'all want to share about your goal setting journeys. You've probably been doing it since you were little. You've had homework and whatnot, but I don't know if there's anything else meaningful that you want to share. But this is where I've taken you to the next step. And then really my best next step is just doing it. And I like these 2 books for now. But thank you for coming. And anybody have anything to share or virtually? Please mention in the chat, or you can take yourself off mute if you have anything.
The Atomic Habits book is good. I'm not a big reader. I only got halfway through it before I returned it. But the half of the book I read was real good. It was an easy read.
Yeah, good. Yeah.
It's got busy and priority.
Yeah, and there's actually on this other slide, if you will Google, and Monica, thank you. Thanks for coming, Monica. If you Google the video Atomic Habits Summarized, the summary animated, it was great. And it really gave very clear pictures of really that enhancing and, and then there's the loop of the habits, the feedback loop, the cue, the craving, and the response and the reward. So lots of pictures in there too. So yeah, thank y'all for coming. Feel free. I'm just going to clean up a little bit, keep drawing, coloring, making your list, whatever. And I think we're going to close up. So thank y'all so much. Thank you. And thanks Monica and Erica and Leah. And I look forward to meeting you in person, except for Monica, I already know you, and I'll see you.